And it can be seen as an anti-pollution effort, and it will be upheld constitutionally. So let me just suggest the following. Cognition is not ignition in the political and civic world. What you know, and people here know plenty about what's wrong. All I am doing is punctuating. What you know is not enough. It's not what here, just here. What's here? Fire in the belly. The sit-down strikers in Flint and Warren, Michigan in the 1930s shut down those factories because they were being exploited mercilessly. Pay in unsafe conditions. They put their entire family livelihood on the line. In the Depression, it's pretty hard to get another job. There was no unemployment compensation. There were no welfare payments. There were no food stamps. They put it on the line because of their dignity, because of their determination to have a decent workplace and standard of living. Fire in the belly. Rosa Parks, 1955, Montgomery, Alabama, preceded by a 15-year-old girl who did the same thing but didn't get the publicity. She sat in the front of the bus. The bus fills up. Man stands over her and goes like this. She said, "Sir, I'm just tired, and I'm not going to do it anymore." The bus driver said, "What did you say?" She said, "I'm staying put." Calls the police, arrest her, handcuffs, take her off to jail. What do you think the African Americans did? They continued their routine. They formed the Montgomery bus boycott and launched the civil rights movement. Fire in the belly. That's the difference. Do you have fire in your belly? Are you willing to change your routines? Because without time, nothing happens. Talent doesn't move. Strategies don't get developed. Candidates don't get chosen. Progressive parties don't get stronger. And we go back home and moan and argue futilely among ourselves and say, "Oh me, oh why, things are getting worse. I guess I better try to make my private life as good as I can." But the private lives deteriorate when our public citizen duties atrophy and flag. People have lower standards of living. They have a deteriorating environment. They have crumbling public services. And on, as you know. So I want to introduce Greg just to make one more plea to you. And I'm going to, while that's done, I'm going to try to sign these books. Now this, if you thought what you heard tonight is worthwhile, and you want to extend it, and you want to extend it to your friends and relatives, that's the book. Don't be distracted by the title. It's in quotes. Only the super rich can save us. It's how a small slice of real super rich Americans, led by Warren Buffett, many of you know, in fictional roles, decide in 2006 that they've had enough. They're in their 70s, 80s, 90s. They don't want to see their beloved country head for the pits before they leave the earth. They want to look at their great-grandchildren in the eye, and they're going to turn the country around by spending billions of dollars and mass media and organizers and recruiters and candidates and mobilize the United States from the community up and generate the leadership for the future. Now, this is a very dramatic book, but it could happen. You don't have to have more than a tiny slice of older, enlightened, super rich. The entire episode and the arousal and collision with the CEOs and their Washington acolytes, and $15 billion they put in. And at one point in the book, Warren Buffett turned to an aide and said, "You know, this is amazing what's happened. We found the real talent in America at the community level. We found the solutions coming off the shelf for so many of our problems. We've shaken up and replaced some of the senior people in Congress. We've dramatically aroused the people to control what they own in the public airways and public lands and so on. Well, basically he said, we've done it on less than 1/3 of my net worth. One rich man. So I hope you'll get it. By the way, tomorrow is Mother's Day. And if you have students who are turned off politics, this is the book for them. Leslie Stahl of 60 Minutes read it, wrote me a nice note, said she found it engrossing, creative, and funny. I said, I'll take all three, given its size. But it's in large print. I want older people to read it. And if you buy two, you get a remarkable paperback by a CPA, retired, Ralph Estes, a toolkit to take on corporations. Very clear, very precise. It has great quotes from Lincoln, Jefferson, all others on corporations and corporate power. It equips you with a lot of material for argument. When you finish reading this book, and don't read it all at once, you'll feel stronger as a citizen. You'll be less inhibited in asking rich people for money for your favorite causes. And you'll learn a lot about how concentrated power works, how to deconstruct it, dissolve it, devolve it, and establish an institution-based democratic society. So that's not bad. I put 40 years of my frustrated experience into it because I like to work from our defeats and learn something. But I actually wrote it, if you put all the time together, I wrote the whole thing in 9 months. It literally flew out of my Underwood typewriter. And so I hope you'll share this with me and with your friends and put it in the library. It's not much for extending what I think we all care about. You will be stunned by what you see happening, by the way power was deconstructed, the creativity of the people in all kinds of ways. Media, environment, political, civic, workers, consumers, taxes. It's all domestic, however. It didn't deal with foreign and military. It's on domestic redirection of our country, using the strategy of surprise against the giant CEOs and the people they hire to fight back. And these giant CEOs and their political allies threw everything but the Marines against these 17 super rich, older people. But they were too late. They had already developed such grassroots power, such meticulous commitments and organization, that finally these bullies in Washington and New York were up against real power. And the collision occurs. And I'll leave the rest for your reading pleasure. Greg, I'll be back with question and discussion.